Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair. Come on down and get your geeked up, gift at the Sci-Fi Center. We got almost everything a geek could want at the Sci-Fi Center. You name it, we got it. Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and everything in between at the Sci-Fi Center.
Oh, something's not right with good old StreamYard and YouTube. Oh, well. Yeah, it was Ace Frehley, and I did not get a chance to make up a show. I was going to do a show a lot earlier today, but I had to. I got involved in some merchandising stuff, getting ready for the weekend, and actually getting ready for Christmas, believe it or not. And I just lost track of time. I had the Dodger game on in the background. So I just lost track of time. I really was planning on doing an earlier afternoon stream or something at least in the 7 or 8 o'clock, but I was bagging and boarding stuff. I was pitting some packaging stuff, scouring the store with this every October or so. I end up getting just going through the store, digging out everything that can be packaged with other merchandise to create value for customers that are looking for gifts and tourists that'll be coming to Vegas. You got NFR National Finals Rodeo. We have a major concert this weekend, the When You Were Young concert. So those people could be coming through traffic. So I was just spending all day today. I had the Bluetooth speaker on. I had the game on. Dodgers went up 3-0, about to sweep the Brewers. Goodbye, Milwaukee. That'll be over tomorrow, and we'll be on to the World Series. But yeah, that's what I was doing today. And by the time I was done, I was done. I was the time it was my normal time that I would jump on. Didn't even get a chance to put together a show. This is the Lazy Thursday show, generic show. Right now, it does not look like I'm broadcasting to as many people as we usually are this time of night. Something is going on with both YouTube and StreamYard, more than YouTube than anything, where it's not doing the alert for everyone, and it's not the algorithm is just it's almost like it's trying to fight off live streams. Like it doesn't want you to be doing live streams at particular times of night. So it's going to take a while. Some of you will get the notification, some of you won't. But a lot of times it'll just show you when you log on to YouTube, it'll show you that we're live, and it hasn't been doing that lately, so which is weird. I'm not as familiar with the band. I mean, obviously I know it's Jared Leto's band, but I have never really heard a lot of their stuff at all. So I know it's a band headed by Jared Leto. That's about all I know. Yeah, Ace Frehley. I don't have a lot of memories of Kiss. They were already pretty much established superstars by the time I was growing up. They weren't really the type of rock that I was into. They weren't heavy metal. They weren't like, the Brit band stuff. They weren't like Def Leppard. They didn't fall into that particular type of category that I was ever into. I knew of them and I thought their look was cool, but I was never a big Kiss fan growing up. Yeah, and apparently Ace Frehley he fell in his home and was seriously injured or something like that. They really didn't release a lot of it, but it was due to a fall. He was on life support, so if he was on life support, I'm assuming he hit his head. He's only 74 years old. I mean, that's not a spring chicken, but that's not. I think all of Kiss is older than him. And they're still kicking. So yeah, rest in peace, Ace Frehley. We'll probably cover him in more detail tomorrow. But what I was, like I said, I was not on YouTube at all today. Oh, look, I just got the notification and I'm live. Isn't that nice? Here we go. 8 minutes in, I'm getting the notification. So hopefully, those of you who are coming on late, this is a really, 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 really super lazy, probably going to be a brief stream. I don't even know if I'm going to have a co-host. But yeah, that's what today was. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to do an early afternoon stream tomorrow, but I'm going to take about an hour and a half from the retail part of the day, and then I am going to jump back into it because right now we're just putting gifts together. That's what this time of year is. Believe it or not, it is October. We're halfway through October. Next month is Black Friday. So all the people who have been suffering through the retail year of 2025, this is going to be their last gasp to bring themselves anywhere near the black for this calendar year. This is the time. That's why they call it Black Friday, because this is when many businesses, and many of whom have really big overheads, can make most of their income back and pull themselves and make them. It determines what kind of year you had. And then the next month, the year is over. So that's what I've been doing all day. That's what I'll be doing all day tomorrow. Just basically turning the entire Sci-Fi Center into a gift place, so that you don't even have to think. You come into the store and you're like, oh, my so and so is into this, and it's going to be basically jumping out at you. That's the way I'll have the store set up. Hello, Brad. How you doing?
And I think chime in on this question. You know what I mean? That's
Hey, you got to do the thing with your mic again. Let's see. You have to go with Poison. See, Poison was an extreme hair band. Wasn't really. They had a couple songs, but I never bought like a Poison album. Oh, Guns N' Roses. I only know one song from Twisted Sister. We're not gonna take it. Poison just wasn't my.
Are you telling me you didn't like you get stuck in your head there? Can't in Pee-wee's Big Adventure? You're gonna burn in hell.
No.
Nah.
I barely remember Pee-wee's Big Adventure, or the sequel.
That was I think that might have been my intro.
Was it Big Top Pee-wee or something like that?
Yeah, I think that might have been my intro to Twisted Sister. Actually, was Pee-wee.
My intro was their big hit back in 1984. We're not going to take it. It was a huge hit. Didn't hate him. Yeah, didn't hate him. Oh, well, I wasn't born when Hendrix put out all of his music. So I still know who he is.
Yeah, but I had to discover these things like after the fact, though.
I discovered Purple Haze after the fact. He was dead before I was alive. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, but it takes time to discover these things.
Not really. It just takes paying attention. Poison was never my thing. Guns N' Roses is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh yeah.
Appetite for Destruction is one of the great rock albums ever made.
William will probably appreciate this as a discovery or a musical discovery on my part, because I, as a kid, pretty much discovered Guns N' Roses pretty much the way.
Terminator.
Yeah, I mean that I think that might have been like the gateway drug for Guns N' Roses for certainly for my generation, probably like 90% of us.
Yeah, because the rest of us, it was Appetite. It was Welcome to the Jungle was a huge hit. So it was a global hit. So, but if you were born, if you're a millennial, then yeah, you'd have to look at it in retrospect. Let's see, Gene Simmons will outlive you. I watched season 1 and I did not just wasn't into it. I think I'm done with the Boys is done anyway. It's next season, but I think I've had my fill of that show. I kind of like just watched that out of obligation. I didn't like the comic. I wasn't a big fan of the comic. And the show has standout performances. Obviously, Anthony Starr is a standout performer, but the show as a
Carl
whole,
Urban.
the
I mean,
show as a whole, I don't have much use for it.
I mean, obviously, if we lived in the alternate timeline where Mystery Men became like the Boys of that timeline,
Okay, and then it brings up stupid shit like
that's
this.
what would have happened if it came out 10 years later.
Listen, I'll play you even doesn't. I felt obligated at a time to watch The Boys. I no longer feel. I don't know if I'm going to be around for season 5.
Is this the final season they're going into?
Season 5 is the final season. Yeah. And Gen V, I tried. I know there's a new season out. I just didn't really care for the first season that much. So no, I'm not a big fan of that. I won't be watching the second season.
You know, I think, but yeah, we'll go ahead and read this on, then I'll bring that one up.
William, your movie has been made. You said you wanted a full movie about the monkey from Nope. Check out Primate. Well, no, I mean, that's not going to do me any good. It's not going to make Nope any better. So I need to see that. I went half a century on this earth without a live action Jetsons. I could have gone another half century.
I was kind of surprised they didn't try to make that happen in like '95, right after the Flintstones movie. I'm really kind of surprised. It's like you would think that'd be the kind of thing they'd try to piggyback off of that.
I got to think that there's a reason why they didn't. That's just me.
No, that got a sequel or a prequel anyway.
Okay, but then why didn't we get a Jetsons?
It was absolutely a success, and it launched Halle Berry.
Why didn't we get it? There's got to be a reason we haven't gotten the Jetsons in 30.
Well, there's also probably like a lot of visual effects involved too, which of course at that time would have been. Yeah, so for the Flintstones, I got the Wikipedia budget 46, box office 341 points. So it was absolutely a monster hit back then.
I don't know if that would necessarily correlate to the Jetsons though at that particular time, but I don't know. I like I said, hard pass. We won't be. Like I said, I can't think of an honest reason to ever bring the Jetsons up on this show without it being forced. And you guys knowing I'd be full of shit because
Halle Berry is almost 60 and she looks exactly the same as she did in the Flintstones.
Yeah. But Antonio, I'm glad you're happy because, like I said, I just wasn't on my bingo card. Oh, by the way, when I forgot who it was, but somebody posted something, and I hear it from a lot of my contemporary YouTubers. When somebody says, "Well, who asked for this?" and then you see YouTubers, it's like, "Well, I hate when people say who asked for this because so and so." Fucking YouTubers don't spend shit producing movies. Us YouTubers spend the crumbs in our pocket for a ticket after everything has been risked. Who asked for this should be one of the very fucking first questions you ask when you're talking about investing someone else's money, when you're talking about investing someone else's career, when you're talking about leveraging and borrowing money. You should have a good idea whether there's demand for it or not. Now, you may get lucky, and not all of the things that that nobody asked for it fails, but there are significant ones that should have been reviewed and bought to somebody maybe one level higher, because a fan saying, "Well, nobody asked for this," and it ended up being success. They always cherry pick the fucking things that back up their point. The 2 or 3 that back up their point, totally dismissing the 30, 40, or 50 that should have died at the concept stage. So I see that around when people mock people who say, "Who asked for this?" That's a really good question that YouTubers and fanboys don't ever have to ask, because your $14 ain't shit compared to the 50, 60, or whatever upwards, 100 million, whatever dollars that gets spent on a potentially career-ending bad idea. So who asked for this is a really good question. A fan not being able to comprehend the risk involved, that's one thing. But that question is a good question. It's a valid question. speaking about the Jetsons. All right. Hello, Jose. What's going on?
Yeah, I think I've actually tried to make that for a while, Johnny Quest. And again, I don't know how.
And it's a fucking horrible idea.
I don't know how well that'd be received today, specifically with one character in particular.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you just stay away from that.
I
didn't dislike D'Angelo. I didn't dislike D'Angelo. I just wasn't. It just wasn't my. I wasn't in a neo soul or R&B. So I knew who he was and I respected his work, but that's about it. Johnny Quest probably makes it look stupid. I found out about it today. Yeah, I thought I knew about it a couple of days ago, and I was I'm not, I'm like, ho hum, it's to me. I'm ready to talk Jim Carrey when he takes on one of those career changing and Oscar winning level roles. Until then, I have no reason to dive into Jim Carrey unless we're talking about one of those movies that he's done that reached that level, but he's never going to get that type of credit for because nobody looks at Jim Carrey for anything other than buffoonery. So, which is unfortunate because I think he's done some really brilliant work, and I think he's capable of doing some really earth-shattering, earth-shaking stuff, but all I get is Robotnik and fucking George Jetson, so sure. Let's see, Flintstone movie probably damaged the chance. Well, Scooby Doo wasn't. Yeah, that's just some of the chicks. It's just because one Hanna-Barbera RP did okay doesn't mean another one is going to be okay. Hell, a lot of the times the people who watch those cartoons didn't watch all the cartoons. William, did you like Morbius? I didn't hate it. It was a mess of a movie. It could have been done better. I like Jared Leto as an actor. He's been in some stuff that I really enjoy. Personal stuff aside, I don't pay to peer into the man's personal life, so I don't care. But a lot of the stuff he's been in, I've enjoyed. So.
Well, I mean, Morbius specifically. I think I could go the rest of my life and not.
Yeah, that movie's not
if
bad
I didn't see Morbius too. No,
that movie's not bad because of him. That movie's bad because Sony's a bunch of pussies when it comes to their Spider-Man IP. That's why that movie all their movies suffered. So
it was. I'm sure you saw this article from Hollywood Reporter floating around talking about like Tron Ares. That doesn't really fall on his shoulders either because it's like it's the same thing with like Morbius because like Morbius is like it's a character that's associated with Spider-Man, but even then it's like a very niche villain. Okay. So it's like you're asking, like, you're trying to do blockbuster numbers, like blockbuster Spider-Man numbers off of a Spider-Man villain without Spider-Man in it, that with Spider-Man villain people barely know anyway. And then Tron's, more kind of a cult sci-fi.
Going back to the question that should be asked, that fans don't ever want to acknowledge need to be asked. Who the fuck asked for another Tron?
Well, actually, apparently Leto did because he was actually kind of the driving force for Ares in a lot of ways.
Leto's. It's not Leto's money, so someone should have said no.
Well, he was a producer on it too. So
producer is not the money. The producer is a producer. Somebody backed that money. That wasn't his money. Somebody put their money on the table and said, "Okay, we'll back that." That wasn't that he didn't pay to have Tron made. And if you look at the numbers of Tron historically, was there anything indicating that there needed to be another one? That's the same thing with Mad Max Fury Road. As much as I enjoyed that movie, there was nothing in that movie. There was nothing in that movie's business that said, let's do Furiosa. Yet they did it. So, yeah, the who asked for this should be like the preamble. Because these things can do a lot of damage if you do these things and you don't have a gauge on who's out there that will buy it. You got some good people who may not get another shot to make movies at this level again. So you're gambling with borrowed money. There was, and I was there for the first Tron, Tron Legacy, what the fuck for? But they did it. So yeah, that had, like I said, somebody needs to, say no. No is a 2-letter word. It's easy. It rolls off. No. You could say, I think no is really similar in a lot of different languages. Somebody needs to start saying no to some of these projects. Because by the time it gets to somebody who says, "Oh, I enjoyed it. I'm glad they made it," who gives a fuck? It lost like millions of dollars, and guess what? Those people who made it, you ain't gonna see them too often if they keep doing things like that. And then we'll be like, "Well, Hollywood's this and Hollywood's that." Well, Hollywood hemorrhage money off of bad ideas. I don't know why Tron Ares, and like I said, we promoted Tron Ares. I don't know why Tron Ares was made. I don't know why Furiosa was made, whether I enjoyed Furiosa or not. That movie took it right in the balls. This is a business. This is real money. This isn't fanboy money. This is real millions. So yeah, the biggest enemy Hollywood has is people are like, well, streaming this shit. No. Some of the biggest enemies Hollywood has are their own poor decision makings about green lighting some of these things. All right, let's see. But no, I don't want to see any more of the Sonyverse until there's a Spider-Man in it. I don't want to see any of that shit. No, it's not. Like I said, for somebody sitting who's not spending diddly squat on this shit, it's the primary fucking question you should ask. And 99% of the movies, that's a bullshit number, because I guarantee you, the stuff that turns out well, somebody did the proper market research and came to the conclusion that this would work. You can't tell me that some of these movies I just brought up, somebody did their homework. Because if you're doing math homework, we don't get a Furiosa. I'm glad some of you enjoyed it, but you guys are parsing the numbers and picking the ones that you think do well, and you're not realizing that the majority of this stuff, somebody did real market research and they decided, okay, here we go. And then you can clearly tell the ones that are not. What kind of research did you do on Mad Max Fury Road to tell you that sequel needed to be made, and that even if it had a fart's chance in a hurricane of being successful without the star of the first one and a prequel? So no, it's not the dumbest complaint. It's the primary question. If you're the one spending the money, that you should be asking. You should have a whole room of people before you even propose your whatever to whoever is spending the money. You should have done way more market research, because a lot of these movies that are not doing well should have never fucking been made in the first place. But then you guys will wonder why it's shrinking, why the resources are shrinking, why we some of these studios can't get a movie made, why it takes forever to get this type of movie when poor decisions about another type of movie are made. Because guess what? When a stupid movie gets made that probably shouldn't have been made, something else that somebody did better research on gets put in the back burner because of somebody's bad decision. So yeah, fanboys don't want to hear that question. But you're $14 to $20, maybe $100 if you're taking the family, compared to the hundreds of millions that go into these. I would like better decision making from the actual money people. Yeah, if they give Jetsons a Minecraft type of energy with a better script, they can really do something with that. I'm not saying make 900 million. A lot of what the Jetsons is going to be how you could make them. I guess I'm not going to go see it. I outgrew the Jetsons when I was a kid, but 40 million, 50 million, you could make, if you could make the creator for 80 million, you can make a Jetsons movie for cheap and make money off of it. It doesn't have to be a blockbuster movie. The highest thing you pay for will probably be Jim Carrey. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend 150 to $200 million on a Jetson movie. There's enough stagecraft out there that 80 million tops for that movie. You pull in the Sonic audience, you pull in Jim Carrey's core audience, you should be safe with that. I like I said, I and do the little here's George Jetson, and have Astro. I don't know what you're gonna do with Astro. If it's gonna be CGI, it's gotta be CGI, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you can make money off of it. As long as they don't go. How much do you think they should spend on that movie, Brad?
I mean, Jetsons. I mean, that's people like living in like floating houses in the space. So it's like, I mean, that I don't think they can get away with less than like 120 million on that.
Oh, well, they can't do that much money on that movie.
No, they can't do less than that.
Creator was 80 million, and that's similar technology. There's flying shit in Creator.
But this takes place in space. The Jetsons is
Not
in space.
necessarily. No, Jetsons is on Earth. Jetsons is on Earth.
Like everything is like a technology. It doesn't exist, and I just can't see it.
Creator was literally a movie with nothing that existed. I don't think they need to spend 125 million on that movie.
Again, it's like you said, like there'll be the carry alone. I mean, that's I mean, obviously getting
20 on him, 20 on him, and then 60 on production.
But so is he going to be like the only big name you're going to put in this?
I don't think they can go. I don't think there's enough data anywhere on Jetsons as an IP to go too crazy with this. I mean, how much? 125. That's a lot. Maybe you know what? Who knows? That's a lot for a Jetsons movie. Sonic is different because Sonic is something that is generationally still relevant. I mean, Sonic was around when I was a fucking teenager, and it's been relevant throughout. I could see how much they spent on Sonic. That would probably be, but Sonic's got a brand name. The Jetsons has a brand name too, but it's not a multi-generational brand name. Like I was playing Sonic as a 16-year-old. There are 16-year-olds playing Sonic now.
The first one was 85 to 90, and they had probably like I think 5 million. That was just fixing the the redesign.
The eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the whole redesign, which that ended up being money well spent. Second one was 90 to 110, and that did 405. So. And it's climbing, like as far as like
but that's Sonic though. They spent that much on a known IP.
Let me see what the third one did. Third one was 122, and it did almost 500 at 492.2. So it's definitely climbing as far as like Sonic. So the next one will probably add like I don't know, like probably 30 million or so to the budget.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jetsons. I'm guessing Jetsons.
But that is actually pretty impressive. They kept that. They kept that in the 120 range because it was gonna like Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, a Shadow. Everybody's all like the main characters are all CGI. Yeah, they go super speed, so that in itself is pretty expensive.
And Minecraft didn't cost anything, did it? How much in Minecraft? And see, one of the things you can mitigate the who asked for this question is by not blowing up a budget that is like crazy. Minecraft, it did cost 150. 150.
Now it made
it was almost CGI,
it made 957. So making that was money well spent.
And see that they got lucky there. How much did Tron cost?
That cost. And by the way, when you talk about like data for that one, I mean the Legacy, real quick. I mean that actually did pretty well. The budget on Legacy 170 did 410. So Legacy actually wasn't. Legacy found money.
No, that's not good.
Legacy put butts
in the seats. You spent 170, and that was we promoted Legacy. Legacy had a huge advertising budget. That's not part of Legacy had like $120 million alleged based on the stuff that we got for Sean. We got all kinds of shit. So they didn't skimp on that movie.
And so they did spent 180. So they didn't like massively overspend from like what the first. They spent $10 million more from Legacy to Ares. So they didn't they didn't shatter the bank.
No, they didn't lose money. But what my question is there enough there to say let's roll another 180 whatever million plus ads plus your cut and distribution, that is there's just not enough there, man. There's just not enough margin there to why did you do that? And what about Mad Max Fury Road? Mad Max Fury Road cost how much versus it? Because I know it didn't lose money, but it didn't they weren't printing money.
Did the budget? And this is where it's a little bit fuzzy. Like the budget between 154.6 and 185.1. So probably there's like some tax rebates and stuff in the middle of that. And then the box office on Fury Road was 380.4.
That's not enough to even consider a sequel. But not only did you make a sequel, you made it without probably who drew you the majority of the money with Tom Hardy. because you don't have to lose money to not justify doing another one. That should have told them right there. And what about Furiosa? How much did Furiosa cost?
That that actually did well. They kept the budget kind of in line. That cost 168. It made 174.
Yeah, so they lost money on Furiosa.
Hmm.
So see, these things, and these aren't bad movies. I'm not saying that they're bad movies.
Well, Furiosa
because-
is one of my favorites of last
Yeah.
year.
But if you're trying, if it's your job to pay the bills and make it so that these things can continue, you have to say no to some things. You know, you just have to say no to some things. Now, in 2015, and then when that was when Fury Road was made, all right, 2015.
Well, that's when it came out. It was like filmed in 2012.
Yeah, wow, fucking 2 years. Like that. And then Furiosa came out in
24.
24. So at least with
Well,
Furiosa,
because they were trying to get like the Wasteland. They were trying to get that off the ground. They just weren't able to make that happen. And they had two ideas. It's like, we want to do a sequel and a prequel. They couldn't make the Wasteland happen, so they said, okay, let's go ahead and do Furiosa.
yeah, I think Hollywood it's been this way for about at least 10 years. Now the streaming reality gives them a lifeline. So if there's like, oh, okay, maybe this wasn't the best decision, they can yank it and then get it on PVOD. But not every movie is going to have that type of attraction. You know, it's just, yeah.
Well, like, I mean, Ballerina, like I said, my number one for this year so far. Let me look up that's coming off the John Wick franchise, which you got tons of data saying that's
tons of data saying that John Wick and Keanu Reeves draws.
Budget was 90, box office 137.2.
Yeah.
It's been killing it on streaming since it landed. So that's where I say the comparison to that.
Then that's where the next
point of comparison with that is the first John Wick. Because the first John Wick, it was successful, but it wasn't John Wick 4 in terms of numbers.
But all John Wick movies have had John Wick in them, though. See, I mean, I don't know if you're going to say, hey, it's kicking ass on streaming, that's fine. Then send it there.
Well, but the other thing about it too is, because he dies in 4.
Well,
that's right. One of the things I thought about, in the time since. Do you think maybe they could have done a better job clarifying the place in the timeline for that?
No, because then once you see the movie and people see the movie in the first run and he's not in it until that a certain amount of time, I hate to say this because I love Ballerina. I think the draw to the John Wick franchise is Keanu Reeves. Until proven otherwise. And you got these other things coming up. I don't know how well they're going to do either. Because if you look at with John Wick, it crept its way up to a $450 million, $500 million franchise. But that took 4 movies for it to get to that plateau. So we're not talking about we're talking about a movie that has a high margin, a high profit margin, but just does that say that it has the extension to do something else beyond him? That's the question that they never really asked, because Ballerina was a criminal.
Well, the other thing too is, did they expect it to do standard John Wick numbers? Is also, I think, relevant. What were their expectations as far as his performance? Like, were they expecting numbers closer to 1 or closer to 4? If they're expecting closer to 4, that's one thing. If they're expecting more and okay, we're introducing a new character,
I don't even know if they asked that question. That's the problem, because that's a question you ask before you spend that kind of money on it. That's not a reaction question. You got to have a good idea about the pulse, and I don't think there's enough there outside of Keanu Reeves to say, well, we can do. What's the next one coming up? There's another one coming up, isn't there?
Kane, the Kane.
Yeah, I fear for that one.
Oh, I don't.
I think that one's going to bomb, and I'm
The
not
hell it
wishing
is.
for it to bomb. Okay, take your emotions out of it.
It's not emotions.
I don't want it to bomb.
They saw he's the breakout character of the last one.
Okay, breakout character. Is Keanu Reeves in the majority of this movie?
It's irrelevant. He's a breakout character in the last one.
Once again, you're not giving me an answer based on an actual answer. Is Keanu Reeves, if I can make a point that Ballerina didn't do those type of numbers because the heart of the franchise is John Wick and Keanu Reeves, wouldn't that apply the same for anything that doesn't have him in it?
Yeah, but it's again, I don't see that applying in this because again,
why?
This is a character that's spun directly out of one of the movies. Ballerina was a new character with a cameo with John Wick in it. This is something that's tailing right off.
But
of
once
that.
again, you've never really answered the question: is who carries this franchise? Fuck the spinoffs. You can have it doesn't matter who if he's not in it, and if that's the issue, that's a problem.
Well, yeah, but you also
that's
had
what-
like one instance where that was an issue. It's like if you have multiple instances, then maybe we'd have more to go on there.
but can you afford to be gambling like this?
Well, I mean, maybe they seem to decide they can. I mean,
This movie was in production before they saw the results of Ballerina. When does Kane come out?
Well, we don't have a date on that. It's announced. Donnie's in it. He's directing there, but that's kind of all we know. There's no like date for it yet.
Yeah,
I would guess probably in, probably like 27 is what they're shooting for.
I'm gonna make you a bet.
Hmm.
I'm gonna make you a bet.
Okay, we never done
That either gets delayed or it doesn't happen. And I'm not wishing it that way, because I'll go see it. I enjoyed Ballerina, but I'm gonna make you a bet that gets delayed significantly or it doesn't happen at all. And that's just based on them doing, their kind of research, or it's something that goes this way.
I want to say more here. I have reason to think that would be a losing bet, and it's based on things I can't say publicly.
That's fine. I'm even with that, even if you have something like that, shit changes. People look at numbers. I'm gonna bet it gets significantly delayed. So we're saying what 2020? What you said it was? You think it was supposed to be?
Well,
out?
I guess it's not officially dated yet, but
that makes it easier to delay.
If I were to venture a guess, yeah, it's probably what they're aiming for is probably 27.
Right, and if it comes out, then I'll go see it because I supported Ballerina. As somebody who really fucking loved that movie, there may have been some decisions there that who knows.
There's just, and this isn't me like being like an asshole.
No, I understand.
There are,
and what you have in your head that you can't
yeah.
release,
yeah,
may be true at any given moment.
It's not like me. This is Brad being a John Wick fan saying this is Brad.
No, and I believe you. I don't think you're
maybe having his finger on the pulse in certain aspects.
Pulse has changed,
or not finger on the pulse, like ear to the ground. Maybe is the way to put it.
Like I said, I if it comes out tomorrow, I'll be there to see it. If it's made by the same people who made Ballerina, a movie I enjoyed, I'm just afraid that outside of Keanu Reeves, that there may not be the kind of momentum that you need to create a universe.
The other thing
I say that begrudgingly, by the way. That's not something I say and I'm happy about it.
Well, the other thing with it too is like, do you think we see her like her character specifically? She might not get her own movie again, but do we see Eve Macaro again in the franchise?
Not without
like a John Wick 5.
In a John Wick 5, with him as the base guy, which sucks, by the way, because I didn't fucking need Keanu Reeves in Ballerina,
and he was in more. You said he was in more than you thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I went to go see her, but apparently I'm not the majority because the same amount of people who should have come with me from the John Wick universe should have been there. Those numbers for Ballerina fucking suck when you understand that literally this is a tight brotherhood of moviegoers that went and saw John Wick and built that franchise up. Why didn't you go see Ballerina? Now, I came up with the two reasons: the misogyny, which is it's a real thing, 2025, but the other one, which we never really truly answered, and this is something that they have to answer, not us, is it a draw beyond Keanu Reeves being in it?
And the only other thing they really got and that gives them any kind of indication of that, and it's not movie wise, but it's streamless, is the Continental show, which that's like we don't have those numbers aren't public, so but they know what it did on Peacock, so that's
did that getting another season, or
I think that was
a one-off?
Yeah, I think that was meant to be just kind of a one and done.
Okay. The Masters of the Universe movies cooked if Leto's still in it. No.
Well, has that? And by the way, has that
movies aren't failing because of Leto?
Yeah. I mean, he's not necessarily. I mean, it's probably fair to say he's not like the kind of star that people like just run out of theaters to see.
No, he's not. And in the movie he won his Oscar for, a lot of people didn't see that movie.
Yeah,
even though him and Matthew McConaughey.
Well, and like with Suicide Squad, like he's in the appeal of. Part of the appeal is the Joker, the role of the Joker.
Tattoo I love that Joker.
Yeah, that's want to see more of his performance. But he It's like people. I mean, it wasn't just the Joker in it, obviously, but it's like as far as like his contribution to it, people weren't going to see Suicide Squad because it's like, oh, Jared Leto's bringing us to it. They're seeing because the Joker's part of it, and just similar like Harley Quinn's part of it, Batman's part of it.
All right, Tosco Beckham.
Would you want Carrie to do more movies like The Truman Show? When other people want Carrie movies like Dumb and Dumber? Oh, I think he's talking about like there's. I think you're saying like a big.
Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't change my preference. I could, I have seen him do some brilliant shit. I personally like to see him. Yes, you are right. There other people, I don't know if more people want to see him or not because they've never really had a chance. To be honest with you.
I'm looking up Masters of the Universe right now. Yeah, it's already done filming too. So that's in the can. And he's Skeletor and he's the main villain. So I mean, that's like you can't. And the budget here is 100 million. So it's like they're not. Yeah, it's like they're the ship has sailed as far as like recasting Skeletor.
But Beckham, regardless, doesn't matter how. If 95% of the people wanted to see him do that, what does he want to do as far as does he want to go deeper as far as character acting goes? Though, I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't want Robin Williams to do comedy or not do movies that were not comedic. He made a decision that he wanted to go deeper, that he wanted to unleash all the dimensions of it as an actor he wanted to. So you know what he did what he wanted to do. Now, like I said, and I've always said this, if Jim Carrey's okay with it, I'm okay with it. And you're asking me, really don't have any use for any of these other movies anymore. I think there's a better actor there than has been put in the majority of his movies. And it's unfortunate that he's locked in. He seems locked into this, type of movie. But hey, you know what? He's got an agent. He can fight for these other roles if he wants them. If this is what he wants to do, the more power to him. I just think it's unfortunate. You see Truman Show, you see Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, you see 24, 23, you see some of these movies, and you see there's a superior actor in there than what he's been given as far as what he goes for. And I think it hurts him when it comes to getting the type of accolades that he should get. But when you think of Oscar, especially when these assholes who don't watch movies half the time, well, when you think of Oscar, you don't think of a grown man's head coming out of a rhinoceros's ass. That to me, I know he's laughing.
You're so traumatized by that one thing. That
kind of thing, it sticks though. It's the impression I think that a lot of people have of Jim Carrey when Jim Carrey's probably a much more advanced actor than we'll ever see, unfortunately.
Aaron's, what are your thoughts on Leto as an actor? I mean, again, it's like I actually haven't seen a huge amount of his work. I mean, obviously, seen his portrayals of the Joker and Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I've liked him as a Joker. I enjoyed Tron Ares quite a lot. I definitely like the Tron Ares. Morbius is, it is what it is.
Okay,
but he's definitely kind of a weirdo, but he's talented.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
You saying Tron has a fan base? Oh, okay, great. Where are they? And are they big enough to warrant that expenditure and that risk in these days? Every movie, there's a Dude, Where's My Car? It probably has a fan base somewhere.
Oh, I know that there's no way that's not getting like an Amazon like 20 years later sequel.
But does it have the significant amount of a fan base to go to a lender or a money person and say, give me this amount of money to do it? I mean, you could say a fan base for a lot of things. How big is the fan base? Are there revenue streams that that come from that fan base that justify making the content? That's all.
Has Ana de Armas ever sold movies as a title character? Well, that is interesting. Because her breakout, I think most people would say her breakout was Knives Out, and
she got nominated for Blonde, whether you like it or not.
That got some hot water there.
And she was the anchor character in that. So I don't know.
Well, that was also Netflix, so there's not really a box.
But once again, these are decisions you have to make. If you haven't done, you risked that she was, so you spent the money. Whether she sold a movie as a title character is not relevant once you cast her in the title character and you spent the money. See what I mean? These decisions cascade upon each other. These are the questions you asked before you dropped the 150. All right, I'm
Well,
gonna start hitting some more of these ones that I think are relevant and skipping the ones I think that are not.
Question to both William and my brother Brad. Oh, thank you, my sister Aaron.
maybe my patience is just short because that just wasn't funny.
They think it's time for the Oscars to start giving out awards for comedies like the Golden Globes.
No.
Well, they have awarded comedies, but they don't do like the best performance in a comedy or they don't divvy it up genre wise like the Golden Globes do. And I mean,
no.
I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know if
Easy question. No, and here's the reason why is because you don't want to categorize movies like that when it comes to the Oscars. Because you're basically saying that we need to separate this movie doesn't belong next to these other movies.
Well,
like Fish Called Wanda, it was a comedy that ended up winning Kevin Kline an Oscar and it was nominated for best Oscar, best movie. So I don't think they ever should separate categories when it comes to movies.
Well,
the best movie is the best movie.
When they tried to do that, when they tried the whole like best picture and popular film thing, which God, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah,
because that was their way to try to like get Black Panther that year, and then that category didn't end up going anywhere. So then they nominated Black Panther anyway in the main line.
And it was a mistake to do anything but to nominate Black Panther as a best movie. Why are any movies in money? Money. That's why it is a business. So when you are doing something, when you are investing in the infrastructure of making a movie, there's a lot of things that you need to ask that a person sitting in front of a mic or a YouTube screen is not going to even consider. Movies are made for money. Movies are made to make a profit. So if your job is to make a profit, then there's a lot of things that go into making profits. There's a lot of questions you have to ask. Do I have a market for this? That's number one. And that translates to, does this movie need to be made? A lot of people don't want to hear that. Too fucking bad unless you're the one spending the money. But since movies are a business made for profit, that is the chief question you should be asking. Do I have a market for this? Because if you don't, and your investors are looking for their return, and you didn't do that, you didn't ask who wanted to see this, or you didn't even probe into it, then you're probably going to have a problem with your credibility with getting these people to give you any more money to do movies again. Yeah, it's not hopefully. It is. It is to make money. No, see, asking why a movie is made when it bombs is too fucking late. You should have been asking that before you made the bomb. And a lot of times, like I just gave you plenty of examples. The signs were there that you probably shouldn't have done this. So when you wait till the movie is bombed and we got to do an autopsy after the money has been lost and the credibility has been fucked up, then yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I agree. It's not a convenient question. It should be the standard question before you even start rolling the cameras. This, why was it made should not be some shit that you have to answer afterwards. You should have done a better job of figuring out whether you had a market. There's market research. There's people who make six figures, make lots of money, who go to school for this stuff. Consultants that you call and you run these ideas through. And that's literally what they do all day long, all week long to make these decisions. You should not be making this assessment after the money's been lost. It's too late then. Okay, I understand it. Brad said this.
Yeah, it's been Jared. Yeah, he's been, and even vocally pushed over that. He's a big Tron fan. So he and directed, obviously, but this is, I think Tron Areas kind of falls into the category of like someone's pet project.
Yeah, but it's not pet money. It's real money. I have all the respect in the world for Jared Leto as Academy Award winner, but Mahershala Ali came to these same people, a two-time Academy Award winner, and pushed Blade. and they said no because it didn't fit what they were doing.
No, they
It's
said
not-
yes, and they just didn't do it.
Is it being made?
They said yes, but they just never made it
Okay.
happen.
So that's a no. So we got Tron made, but so you can say no to an Academy Award winner. It's not hard. It's 2 letters. It's 2 letters. No, or not at this time. Maybe later. Maybe down the line. You can say no. They didn't say no. They get to deal with that aftermath. And I'm pretty sure that Jared Leto wouldn't be the first Oscar award winner that somebody said no to. There are Oscar-winning directors that get their projects turned down. Sometimes it's just not the time for it. All right, even if I concede this, once again, fans can cherry pick historical successes and leave out the I just gave you 5 or 6 examples literally right here on this show. So hide behind Star Wars, sure. But there's a lot of other stuff that you know that you can't do. And plus, you also did it on the credibility of Lucas and Spielberg at the time, or at least Lucas. So yeah. Cherry pick your favorite movie if you want to. That's fine. It's not your money. And then the same people will be like, well, how come we never got to this? Or how come we never got to that? Or how come Hollywood doesn't make these types of movies anymore? Because poor decision making it doesn't go away just because a fan moves on to their next movie. That money loss, that's there. That sticks. That hurts. So yeah. Well, yeah, then there's this.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at this new one we got in the comments. The one at the bottom, man.
What?
Speaks for itself.
This is worth. Listen, enjoy it when it comes out. Enjoy it when it comes out, Aaron. I'm gonna pass on it because it's not for me. But if they make it for a decent price, they could make some money off of it.
Apparently, they were trying, and this actually is interesting because after Barbie was runaway hit, they were they went.
Oh, somebody asked me who else for Barbie. 60 years of market research saying that Barbie was one of the most globally icons that you could make money on. Really easy one there.
Well, I didn't think it would be $1 billion. I mean, clearly I was wrong, but I thought.
Me were on the same screen when I said they could print money with Barbie.
Yeah.
Do
I look like the target demographic of Barbie?
No, I'm not. But I know, dude, Barbie's a global 6-decade icon phenomenon. So.
Well, but anyway, it's interesting that because like after that was a big hit, there's news that Warner Brothers is like wants to greenlight. Okay, now like what else is like in Mattel that we can like turn into a big, and it's been totally quiet since then on. They're apparently it's radio silence on like Barbie 2, which is really really surprising.
Well, she's busy. You're not going to get that made for a while. She's busy. She's got Narnia, and then she's got another movie after that.
You got to talk about the director.
Yeah, she's booked, man. She ain't getting her for
But this is where you might say, okay, we might need to hand it off to a new director then.
But see, I don't know. The problem with that is I don't know what's her face.
Margot Robbie.
What's her name? Sorry, Margot, if you're watching. I don't know if Margot Robbie will do it without her. I see what you're saying, and she could be the executive producer, but I think that relationship between her and Margot Robbie may be tight enough to where, and they don't figure that one needs to be made immediately. They're all working. She's working on different. Margot Robbie is sought after, so so yeah. I don't think Barbie's happening in the next 3 or 4 years. Not because it's not viable, because Greta, she's backed up now. She's one of those directors that you want on your project.
We don't know what conversation Leto had with Disney to convince them to make Tron. He also helped get the film funded, I believe.
That doesn't mean
he was a producer, so it's like, of course he helped get it funded. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
like took it out of his own bank account, but
Yeah, that's all great rational, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you say yes or that it needs to happen. And you're seeing that. The reason's great. Now I this is something that, you know, somebody in that conversation should have said, nah. I mean, like I said, and I enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road. I enjoyed Furiosa. But you're in business to make money. How many of these risks can you take before, you know, you really hurt yourselves with this? I didn't put the link in the chat yet, but sure.
you know, at the risk of sounding like a pig, if you do a watch party of the Flintstones, let's just say Halle Berry's. Let's just say she really, she really Halle Berry's it. That.
Well, Monsters Ball, that's the full Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Mad Max should not have cost that much. It didn't need to be so glossy over the top. It should shrink the vision. Now I agree with you, and that's what I mean. So if you're going to make these movies that you're not sure you have a really big audience for, then those budgets need to be microscopic. That way, you didn't have an audience. Nobody went to go see the movie. We throw it on PVOD. We do that. But when you start going upwards to like 150, 100, and you start sending that good money, the primary question, the first question you should be asking is does anybody want to see this? And that question needs to come before you lay that cash down. That shit don't come back. It's like a bullet. Once you leave it, it doesn't come back. But yeah, I can agree there. Yeah, and we talked about this before. Mel Gibson, if there's any way back to I that's the guy, it's his baby. Him and George Miller, it's their baby, you know. And George Miller didn't he direct Furiosa? Or was that somebody else?
Nope, that was Miller. That was him.
Yeah, it was Miller. He's like 90, dude. How long has he been?
Yeah, he's still doing it. Just that image.
Whatever.
I can't even look at that image and not laugh.
I'm not going to look at it anymore. Watch back. Listen, guys. I don't know how much more praise I could give Ballerina. I gave an out of the theater a glowing recommendation of it. It is you saw John Wick, if you enjoyed John Wick, answer me, please. Why didn't you go see that movie?
And like when he saw, because William saw like
I saw a couple days before Brad.
Yeah, and as you teased me about nonstop going into it, but like he came out of that, and like the first thing he did, he got on our Twitter DMs, and he messaged me. Exact words were, "You're gonna love this movie," and
I said that in the review. If John Wick made $450 million its last time out, you're on the same road, content wise, story wise, and if you're into the violence that John Wick gives you, that kind of controls chaos violence. This was your movie, and
the whole last half is like, I mean, I was on cloud 9.
I mean, she's killing people with things I can't even imagine. Who wrote this?
She uses ice skates
in a very vicious way.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is I'm happy that Ballerina got made, but I have to ask the real non-fanboy jobber question: should it have been? I enjoyed the movie, but no one's been able to give me a clear answer. The definitive answer is does that franchise have the carrying power beyond Keanu Reeves in the character of John Wick? And do you risk these other movies on the same platform? It's a real question you have to ask. And you should be asking it before you start rolling. Because the production companies and the people who make these movies, a lot of times when they make one movie, their resources are caught up in that movie, and another movie gets put on the back burner or delayed. So just a double whammy. Not only did you end up making a movie that maybe you shouldn't have done, another movie that might have been more viable may not be made. It's not an infinite pool of money all the time. So it doesn't matter whether I like the movie or not. I say this about movies I love. But if it's not doing the business, I can't expect people to hemorrhage money just because fanboy William really wants to see it. It's not how this shit works, man. William and Brad, have you seen the news that it doesn't get seen until later? Oh, I've heard that.
Talking
Yeah.
about Pennywise.
Yeah. By the way, those trailers are misleading from what I've heard. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't need to see that fucking clown. Don't see the
Well, that's
clown.
the end. At all?
Eventually, but he doesn't. Okay, so Pennywise, for me, doesn't need to be the crux of Welcome to Derry. His magic and legend and all that, that's what they're telling you. He's going to, you've seen him in the trailers, but he doesn't need to be all, for me, doesn't need to be all throughout. He needs to be put into context, and I'm okay with that. But there seems to be a lot more to this story of Derry than just him. It culminates with him, obviously. But there's a lot that the movies don't cover. And I'm really I am having to decide whether I want to do a watch party of this if we have time, because I think that's going to be a brilliant show. So I got a week to decide. I think the 26th, maybe a week and a half to decide that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aaron, I don't think that's going to be a problem, to be honest with you. I don't think that you should be using Pennywise as heavily in the advertising in the balloon as they do, because if the story doesn't revolve around him throughout, then maybe people might, drop off. That's a risk you run. They did research and said that Donnie Yen John Wick was the movie people were asking for. Okay, great. What research is if they did the same research as they did for Ballerina, then I don't have faith in that research. Go back to the drawing board. Last thing I want is a good movie, the level of Ballerina, to come out and underwhelm. Why would I want that? Why would anybody want that? Ask the question, like I said, and it's an honest question, does this franchise have wings besides Keanu Reeves' personality, the John Wick, Bobby Yaga, that question? And if the answer is no, it's unfortunate, because that just means you made a damn good movie that not as many people who should have seen it saw it. And if it makes money on streaming and just that, great. Like I said, they don't stop counting the money till the money is made. But for that kind of money, fucking skip the middleman. You might as well just go PVOD. And instead of giving up 35 to 40%, in some cases higher, depending on the time of year, just go straight to your streaming services. That shit on HBO Max or something like that. And, then you don't have, the risk gets mitigated. But you put that in the theater, you're diminishing returns the moment it hits the theater. It's just, cut Leto out. What? I like Jared Leto, but I understand he's an acquired taste. He's not for everybody, in real life yes.
And I've been Nightmare Joker for Halloween multiple times since the movie came out. So that's my favorite. I think when it comes to like alternate looks of the Joker, the Nightmare Joker, I love that redesign they gave him.
Every time I hear about it, I get angry. I get angry because of that scene at the end, that fucking nightmare scene. My soul needs to see what happens. Even if fucking Zack Snyder, you scribble it down on a napkin and you slide it across the table. I need to know how that ends. I need it. I need it.
Yes.
And papers and staples, comic book, claymation. That's why the motion picture cartoon, I don't need that. Papers and staples. You give me that and papers and staples, man.
Yeah, it's like, it's and see, that's the thing. It's like this movie. That's what makes the ending of the movie so perfect. Is that it's
aggravating? What do you mean perfect? It's aggravating. Damn it.
Yeah, it's aggravating and therefore galvanizing for people. Like, why the fuck did we see the rest of this? And the short answer is because the studio for the better part of a decade has been run by imbecilic dickheads.
Oh yeah, it's bullshit there. We won't go into that. It just makes my veins in my head pop out.
Every time, I love it so much. I love it so much. Every time I meet, and it's happened with people in the dojo where they've either newly discovered the movie or they like weren't along for the whole ride with it, and they asked me, it's like, hey, how'd this all come about? And I have gotten so good at giving the cliff notes of this, and every time I meet somebody who just was not in the
I
weeds
can
on
see
there.
you like a Jehovah's Witness with your foot in the
Oh
door.
yeah.
Like,
It's
can I
like-
talk to you about our Lord and Savior? It's like, I'm sorry, sir, I'm busy. I know you. I have to. I can see you
I'm a
holding people down,
Snyderverse
like,
witness. Yeah.
driving away.
have-
They're driving away, and you're like running along the side of the road. This is how these assholes. And I'm on it. I can see you. I can see you doing it.
Yeah,
Hosea.
but yes, it's like yes, it's aggravating for me every time I see that.
It pisses me off.
It's like, yes, please, somebody with deep pockets, make this happen.
Not even
Find a way
dude. It costs 28 cents a copy to make a comic book. You don't even have to make a lot of them. 28 cents per copy, I think.
Here's the question I have. It's okay. It's like, why hasn't even that been done yet? It's like, if it's that, what's stopping it from doing that? Like, what's the roadblock? I mean, it's one thing to talk about like the roadblocks on actually doing it, movie wise, which is, I mean, it's not insignificant as far as like scheduling and budgeting.
Right now, with the DC all in, I know why it's not happening now, because you're in the middle of something epic. But at some point, come on, man. Hosea, movies have struggled this year. I wonder if Avatar 3 can still do great numbers. I think Avatar 3 is going to do great numbers. I don't know if it's going to do standard Avatar numbers for reasons I don't think has to do with the movie itself. I just think the climate and the way we see movies has changed so much. It could shape some, like a 2-point whatever movie. I can see it covering $1 billion. No problem. That's the sad.
I mean, it's definitely fair. And I had one published a couple months ago on comic book where I talked about, it's like, and it was the one I was telling William about for a while, where I had this kicking around in my head where I said, with like looking back on like 2019 was really like the year where like the $1 billion club like really kind of hit its peak, and it's really kind of we had $9 billion hits in 1 year in 2019, and it's like we've had like 10 in the time since then. So the article on College, it has the $1 billion box did that peak in 2019. I think it's almost inarguable it did, because I mean it's like we don't have like one calendar year with like $9 billion hits. So it's like
and we didn't have streaming during that year. We did not have streaming.
Well, we had streaming, but we didn't have streaming. Like
it wasn't like it was a zygote. It was not the full grown ass man of it, a woman of it is now. So it's a different world, guys. I think it'll make its $1 billion. How close it comes to $2 billion will be determined on, once again, I know a lot of people who can't wait to see those giant blue people, but they're broke. And it just may have to wait. And that sucks, because that's the kind of movie, not for me, but that seems to be the kind of movie you want to see on the biggest screen you want to, but it costs money, man. And
when
it's
you
tough.
Spinal Tap, the end continues on Saturday.
Yeah, sure.
But you going back to the papers and Aaron's papers, sales diet. Well, but this has been on my mind for a while, because like a lot of other people have suggested, it's like if you can't get it in movies, like get it in comics, and people have said like that itself is like a roadmap to like you take it elsewhere. But that's what's been on a question I've had for a while, is like, okay, it's like even if we go that route, like doing it in comic form, like, well, what's stopping it from happening?
All right, okay, what's stopping it now is All In and Absolute. That's where they want to focus on. And now DCKO. Because when you do something like this, it's going to be, what's stopping it now is that. What stopped it before is just bad management. And then the film studio probably putting everybody, well, not even a film studio putting and I hate to say this, what stopped it then is some of our fan base just made it to the point where it was radioactive to even touch anything with the name Snyder on it. Not us, but the conversation became so radioactive that nobody wanted to touch it. I think there needed to be time. I think there needed to be opportunity. Too many people tried to force the issue when there was no opportunity for the issue to be forced. And that turned a lot of sane people, not the anti-Snyder shitheads, but that turned a lot of people that could have been the backbone of helping you get this done in any platform. But so many people were turned off during that I understand why a lot of people wouldn't want to touch it.
Well, it's like, I mean,
by the way, hold on, keep your thought. I did not thank you, Rational Skeptic, for your $5 super chat. I just wanted to make sure I'm thanking everybody who's contributed. So
because the number of people, that we know through social media, and like who've kind of had their ear to the ground. They've specifically like Tom Conroy. Tom MCJL, I think is his handle. He's talked about like Zach and Scott Snyder have, they have had discussions about doing comic book work for his Justice League saga, and of course Scott Snyder, he's the guy overseeing Absolute right now. But again, that's been a big question I've had in my mind for like when I hear people say the advocacy of like, let's continue it, let's finish it, let's do this in comic book form. It's like, okay, but it's like, so what's been stopping that from happening, especially when like you're on a budgetary consideration, it's like it's much lower. Like what's the roadblock for that? Why hasn't that happened yet?
Because right now,
and again, it's like everything you laid out.
It is
right now.
Prior to it, it was so radioactive, man. And I hate to say it because I'm somebody who wants the resolution, but we do have some people that were involved in our fandom and that just made it radioactive. You just didn't want to touch it, and I can understand that. We don't know if Tron Ares lost money. Currently, it's on pace to lose money. We don't know how much merchandising it did. I haven't seen any merchandise. Now, the one thing that will do well with soundtrack, and the one thing I can attest, because I haven't seen the movie, so I can't tell you what it's good about. That fucking soundtrack's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So you're right, Rational. I don't think the soundtrack is going to sell enough to make up for ticket sales, but PVOD. But that's not. I don't know. I mean, when you spend that kind of money up front, you probably want more than what they got, I'm guessing, but you never know. You could be right. I always say they don't stop counting the money till spending. But I'm getting the impression from the people who we helped promote it with that they're not happy with the return when we talk to them about it. So, and I like Jared Leto. I'm just not a big Tron fan. I never was back when the first movie. I mean, I went to go see it because I got outvoted. I didn't care for Tron when I saw it in the movies. I thought it was kind of lame, but that's just me.
More fun facts. Buffy and Angel. They had comic spinoffs.
Yep. Season 8.
Yep.
With some really kick-ass stories too, by the way.
Yeah, how you like them apples? The dickhead gets his franchise continued in comic form.
But see, at that time, nobody knew he was a dickhead. And two, Buffy. By the time Buffy hit season 7, Buffy was one of the most. They could have actually kept Buffy on the air. They could have gone supernatural with Buffy.
Yeah, well, it's because I didn't watch. I mean, I was following it, but I mean, it was big enough where it's like you knew it was out there. You were
huge. It was the hugest thing on that channel for a while. But the problem is that they went on to make other things. All those people went on to either produce or be in bigger things. Scooby-Doo, what's her face? How I Met Your Mother. I mean, they went on to make big money that you couldn't justify, but that show was still popular. Jared Leto sucks. All his movies. Okay,
that's from the Jim Carrey Rhino one.
That's fourth. That's got to be fourth.
That's got to be fourth. Yeah.
Fourth, you're gonna slip up one day, and it's just gonna be the whole gig is gonna be up. He slipped up that one time. That was hilarious.
With Williams pants or whatever it was, or like Williams fly. Or...
Yeah, I saw it, and I didn't do like great or anything, but I didn't order them though, so I knew people who liked Smallville. I was having some fun with a Smallville guy today. We watched the show and he's local. He came in wearing he dug up a Smallville shirt from like 2006 or something. I'm like, where the fuck did you get? Looks like it's been sitting under the lawnmower just to come fuck with me. And I'm like, dude, listen, I'm glad you got 10 years. I don't know how the fuck you got 10 years, but I'm glad you got it. I don't want people to go without things that make them happy. Just because I question something's existence doesn't mean I'm not happy that you got it. There are people who love The Flash. I couldn't do it. There's a lot of TV shows on there that I'm like, not for me. I'm glad you got it because we know what it's like to go without something we like. I know what it's like to have a show canceled that I really love. Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, Fuck You Fox. Raised by Wolves, even though I know why that was. I knew there's no way that you could sustain the expense on that show. There's a lot of shows on there that I've had snatched from me. So, like I said, and I've always said this, about a CW show that wasn't my favorite its first couple of years. That's Superman and Lois,
and that got a bow put on it. That
you got an ending. You are the Superman fans that got an ending to your story, even though your story for the half part, doesn't matter. That's not relevant. You started something. They started you on a journey, and you got to end that journey. I'm happy for you guys. And to be honest with you, some of the stuff in that the last season, especially the cinematography in the last season
season's the best season.
Was like, okay, where the fuck was this?
Well, yeah, and you did. That was our one show we did where it was the episode where
where he reveals.
Where the dude pulls the gun on him and they're dying.
We actually showed the scene.
And, yeah, it's in slow motion because that's when people are starting to suspect who. That's what I loved so much about that's what season 4 was. The producers, everybody involved, were saying it's like we want to do something with Superman that's never been done before in movies or TV, and they really delivered on that because just on that alone, like he's revealing who he is to the world, and that moment,
No, that's actually a good idea. I'm not laughing at it. That's a great idea. You know, when you're not trolling, you actually come up with some crazy shit. When you're not trolling under 10 different identities in the same chat, you know.
Well, are you sure you're not trolling right now?
I'm not the walrus. Don't bring it up anymore. I can't. I don't even want to say that.
What was I saying a minute ago?
See, that's what happens. You fuck yourself up.
It was the scene again. The scene where he ripped open.
Yeah,
but the fact it's in slow motion where it's like because he's the gun.
Well, everything works there. Everything works. Remember how I broke it down?
Yeah, where it's like you can just see in that scene he's moving at super speed. Everything around him is in slow motion, so you can see him actually make the decision. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Takes his glasses off and puts his glasses on the table
very slowly, and then does a slow motion shirt rip, and then bullet bounces off, and the next thing you see, he's standing there in the full suit, and that's what was so great about that was the fact that he could have just, if he just stood there and let same thing would have happened. Like bullet would have bounced off him, and the cat's out of the bag. But he decided, okay, if I'm going to reveal myself, I'm going to do it on my own terms. I'm going to make a statement with this.
Or it was so symbolic. I mean, the S, the symbol of all of Superman, no matter what Superman you like, other than Smallville, because you never got to see it. You know, the S, the whole, everything, the way that was filmed, the bullet, focusing on the bullet, focusing all the people on the face, focusing on him. Yeah. And then I'm like, and that's to me, it's a further indictment on the CW. What were you waiting for? If you would have started, if 06, you would have produced anything near the level of that last season of Superman and Lois, do you realize you would have shut me up forever? If you would have taken that kind of, or you would have, not the people who worked on it, but if USCW would have said, you know what, we want to make this into something that's just not a money loss. If they would have dedicated those type of resources and given those to all their other shows, can you imagine? You would have had the cinematic universe probably being afraid to be made because you would never be able to touch that. But they didn't. They waited till the fucking waning days of the helmet station to put on their best foot forward. And it's like,
but that was that among other elements. Like there was when they said this, we're going to do something. We're going to tell a Superman story that's never been done before. And see, that was not just PR and hype. It's like they meant it and they delivered on that because again, like the reveal to the world, they're doing their own, as much as William hates a death and resurrection story and Battle of Doomsday.
It's a brand new story, by the way, guys. A brand new story. Never heard of it before.
And the whole thing, it's like, okay, it's like it's not just his story ends. It's like his story, like he finishes the show, and it's also this is when his life is ending in the final scenes. It's like that's
another instance. Here's the thing. Every instance where you put Doomsday to kill Superman.
Well, he didn't die for doing this a second time.
You could have put Brainiac there. Everywhere you've done this, everywhere you will do this. Take out Doomsday, put Brainiac.
And by the way, it seems like we're not. Brainiac is. I mean, it's not confirmed, but it seems like he's probably not going to be the villain of Man of Tomorrow. Probably going to be Rick Flag.
Well, okay, I didn't know that.
Again, that's not fully confirmed, but it seems like very much the Rick Flag is one of, if not the primary antagonist in Man of Tomorrow. From like
who? What?
Rick Flag.
Oh, that doesn't mean
Brainiac.
He's a mere mortal. Yeah, he's a mere mortal. He could be a. You know what? He could be under the control. No, I'm serious.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say it's like, what if Rick Flag is Brainiac?
What if Rick Flag has Brainiac in a fucking bottle somewhere, and he's been doing this all along? But I think it's more of a fact that he may be controlling. Somebody's controlling Rick Flag. That Rick Flag that we were given in Creature Commandos, and the Rick Flag that is not the Rick Flag.
Everybody
So
said
it's either
that, too.
Clayface. So say for instance, so he didn't win that battle with Clayface. Say Clayface won the battle instead.
Oh, when he
And
morphed
it's been
into
switched out, and he is.
I can see that.
I there's got to be an answer to that.
That would
okay.
redeem a lot of pieces.
I need to hear that sooner than later.
Because
William Gunn said
he was he just did like he just
laughing. He's laughing at people dying.
It's bipolar, like what we saw him before compared to in Peacemaker.
And like I said on Film Junkie, I promise you, no general, no sergeant major, no sergeant for the class, no lieutenant, no office, no myself as a standard NCO. If you see another soldier, another compatriot die, everything fucking stops. I don't care whether you knew him. If somebody in our company, if somebody in our battalion was killed in battle or died and we had to go to the funeral, then everything stops. Everything stops. There is no, we're going to continue with the mission, but we're going to stop what we're doing for a couple of seconds, especially when the bodies are being rolled in like that, like they were dragging the bodies, and Rick Flag is right there. A general is going to stop. He's going to order everyone else to stop. He's going to salute, and he's going to put a flag over that body. That's the one thing I did not see. There should have been flags on those bodies. Because remember, Rick Flag is saying we're doing this to protect America, not just
that would be.
He's a general.
That would be clever if like that. That's like the reversal. If there is a reversal like that Gunn's pulling, because again, it's like Rick Flag. He is fundamentally a different character in Peacemaker compared to what we saw.
Now I'm thinking about it. Remember, we still have a story that was opened up in Creature Commandos with all that crucifixion shit.
Yeah.
So we don't have answers to that, and Clayface was part of that. And that Barobi, all that stuff could come back. So the more I think about it, I think he should tighten it up personally. But I'm thinking now, okay, it's out there. So there you go. William Gunn said he can't do Static Shock film due to rights and issues. I don't. Okay. You asked me this before, and I promised you I was going to get you a better answer. Somebody asked me, and I think I did a little bit of research. I think there are certain characters that were developed. Okay, Milestone Media is a Milestone LLC is a media company which created the Milestone Comics line, which were published and distributed by DC Comics. Milestone Media created the source material that was adapted as Static Shock animated series. The company was founded in 1993 in coalition of African American artists and writers consisting of Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cohen, Michael Davis, Derek T. Dingle, and Christopher Priest. The founders felt that minorities were okay. So I think there's a publishing issue. Okay, in other media, I think DC owns the rights because they were developed under their imprint. I'll get back to you on this, because you know what? In fact, I'm going to send myself an email. I think we should be covering that on one of our shows. I think we should cover that on Saturday's show that I'm still undecided about, but we still fucking keep doing. Hold on for a second. I'm going to email myself Milestone. Because there's a reason, and I've heard it come up before, but I think it's a publishing thing, but not necessarily a rights thing. I think it's Dwayne McDuffie and those guys actually, when they created that, because remember, the imprint was created in 1994 after Image. So I think there are some writer-creator issues there to where it's partially owned. They have to come to an agreement. I'll get you some hard answers, though. Yeah, they could have, but you know, those people started making some big dollars, and you just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, if you look at, Anthony Stewart Head was on Broadway, so there you go with him. What's her face was already making Scooby Doo and other things she was in, and she was in what was she in? The horror. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Is that her?
Yeah,
that's Summer's okay. Yeah, so she started. Yeah, you just started losing these people to the regular project, which is a testament to Buffy. You got 7 years, and I don't know what the fuck the channel that they were on. I guess that was stupid that they got rid of that. All right, I'm back. Drogo's back. Smallville has aged badly. It really has, to be honest with you. But a lot of show has. Like I said, I told you, the first chapter of my dissection of Smallville, like it's literally going to be titled, "What the fuck are you doing in Smallville, Kansas?"
And you know the weird thing is that it kind of has a double meaning if you think about it. It's like because it's like, it was like a not. It's like what are you doing in Smallville? It's like, well, yeah, you don't like the show. What are you doing in Smallville?
What are you doing? It's hilarious though, because thank you to Scott Snyder, two characters that I've spent decades detesting for the nature of their bringing into the DC universe are the two most intriguing characters right now that are going on. Absolute Bane is the way Bane should have been brought in.
And this he's referring to, that's Apocalypse War, which is one of the best DC animated movies.
It is. And Doomsday is the time trapper, which is there's no way I saw that coming. There was no way I saw Doomsday as a time. It's an emaciated Doomsday, but it's Doomsday. So I have Scott Snyder that can. I'm gonna say, dude, there's like a list of characters that I just can't stand the existence of. But you know what? He's gonna be bringing Robin and Absolute Batman, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? But I trust Scott Snyder. So, okay, my money is Clayface, and that the real Rick Flag Senior is stuck in that same dimension. That'd be hilarious if John Cena at Peacemaker finds a real Rick Flag in that universe. It's all coming together. Starting to feel a little bit better about that episode 8. I want to highlight you, but dude, you bring up a good point. But why did you do this? It's like Brad's enema and Brad's. I mean, stop, guys. I'm trying to run a respectable show, and you guys are making me bring up enemas and just stop it. I think it's Clayface, but with Rick Flag. Okay, if it's Clayface, this is the wild idea. With Rick Brad bring patterns, he's kept up to him because he's got to know shit to operate with the clearances and codes and all that stuff. So there's some way that whoever is doing this has him psionically hooked up to Rick Flag. So there are emotions that are bleeding over from Rick Flag, and that's probably how you would undo him, because even though it could be Clayface, you could appeal to the emotions that are permeated into Clayface, because he might not be able to control those emotions, even if he has a directive for whoever he's working for.
Well,
like the Maria Baklava, that's been in there. Maybe Clayface movie goes in Creatures Commandos with real Rick Flag. Yeah, these are good ideas. And I think.
And by the way, that was kind of always how I felt, like how Martian Manhunter became Swanwick, right? When he gets to Earth, like he takes on Swanwick was like an actual soldier who was like killed in action, and Martian, he gets to Earth, lands at Afghanistan or something, and then discovers the real Swanwick there, and he takes on his identity to blend in with the rest of us. I actually wrote an article out of Screen Rant.
Guy with no family, perfect. All right, guys, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. That was a lazy Thursday. Like I said, I didn't have a structured show like I wanted to, because I'm just getting that retail. If you've ever been a retailer, or if you work in a small business or anything like that, it's coming for us. How important the next 90 days are going to be for us. So I'm going to be trying to balance my YouTube life, but my priority is going to be the Sci-Fi Center. So
by the way, I mean, without prying too much, in terms of and this is a very maybe crude way of putting it in mathematically, but it's in terms of the total revenue the Sci-Fi Center does annually, what percentage of that would you say you making the final 3 months of the year, between Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas?
Percentage wise, I won't give you a dollar amount, because that fluctuates and that's too much. I would say 40%.
Yeah, that is enormous. So
40%. And then the rest of it, because it swells too.
Yeah.
It swells.
Yeah,
and the reason why
that
and the reason why it's so important for small businesses is because all the purchases and investment you make throughout the year, sometimes they pan out. So what you do is, if you buy a certain type of merchandise, obviously you want to sell the 50% of it, at least 50% right out of the bag. But you still have merchandise that makes up the body of your store, and that's where that swells, and that's where a lot of people come and get it. Like I constantly keep every issue of Absolute Batman or the Absolute Universe there, even though I've sold the primary issues that came out months and months ago. But now we come in and we got the gift certificates, and we have the books and everything else that lead them. And when you package everything together, you package things and discount things differently. And it's a lot easier to discount in this next 90 days to the end of the year because of the volume, because of the gift buying tendencies. The volume is to the point where, I can take 30% off of that because I'm going to be moving so much of it that the profit margin is there for me. So yeah, it's the time of year. It's the culture we live in. And like I said, it's an important time. But it's like I said, but the most important single day for me is not Black Friday, because the holiday season.
It's pre-comic day.
Yeah, pre-comic day. The holiday season is more than Black Friday. A lot of people start buying before Black Friday, but Black Friday starts.
People are Christmas shopping right now.
Yeah. So you're getting things that right now, Cyber Monday and all that other kind of shit. But the single most successful day of the year for me, as far as the one day goes, is the first Saturday of May. And I love pre-comic day. So all right, guys, hope everybody got their questions answered. By the way, if I seem like I'm yelling at you, I'm not yelling at you. I don't hate you. I don't hate your opinion. I'm just asking some legitimate questions that I think that Hollywood needs to ask before they dump all this money.
Oh, and by the way, we'll maybe go into this more on the next show. But I mean, there was a thing with Netflix and the K-pop Demon Hunters. I looked into that. And probably coming out this weekend. That's just for that particular movie, though, right? In 400 theaters. Right now, that's it. Yeah, but I was kind of wondering, like, maybe that might be like, especially with like the speculation of Netflix becoming like a Warner Brothers buyers. Like, could that be like a dry run for like whatever symbiosis they would have if they ended up being the buyer?
Okay, so no and no. No, I guys, I could be 100% wrong, and I'll wear the clown suit if I am. I don't think Netflix is seriously in the running, and neither is Comcast. Comcast is full of shit. Or we're preparing to make it. Comcast is full of shit. All Comcast wants to do is drive up that price so that the Ellison family has to bleed out a little bit more. But I don't think. And even if they do, say for instance, Netflix does do it, I don't think it's going to be a collaboration like that. I think that they just would use them as a distributor in the library. I don't think you'll see. I think you'll see Netflix grow, but I really don't think. I think it's a horrible precedent if Netflix is. I don't even want the Ellison family to have it. More and more every day, I'm like, oh. But yeah, I don't think Netflix is going to be the bidder. I don't think Comcast is a Universal Comcast is going to be the bidder. I'm laughing at that because I know what those fuckers did. I mean, and they did it really good. They basically fucked Disney. They're like, we know you want it. We know you're not going to ever let us have it. But we're going to drive up the price, and we're going to say, you know what? You're going to pay $30 billion more than this fucking company is worth. And we know you're going to grab the ankles and you're going to take it. And they did it. And that's why when you look at the purchase of Fox, it really has still had an effect on Disney. They're still trying to recoup that money as far as the entertainment side. There's a lot of money to overpay for something. I mean, so one company was valued up $30 billion, and whereas Warner Brothers, every time they sell, it's like they get valued down $30 billion. And see the difference for people who want you. So, all right, guys. So
we'll probably go more to that on Saturday, but probably about William earlier. So it's like
Milestone. We'll cover Milestone on Saturday. We'll cover a little bit more. We're gonna cover Ace Frehley a little bit more because I like I said, I was not online today. I did not create the proper respect. I didn't give the RIP screen, which I usually have, but I was busy all day. We're gonna cover Ace Frehley. He passed away at 74 today. From complications to a fall, he was put on life support. There are some things that we're going to cover this weekend. Hopefully have some guests. I'm still working on certain guests that just can't. Their schedules don't line up. So hey, look for me tomorrow afternoon. Look for me tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but look for me tomorrow afternoon. I will probably go live before I jump on with Film Junkie. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see, if I see some new faces there. And because I know a lot of you guys are put in a position where you have to watch this show, during normal hours because you can't watch it live because of when I stream. I'm going to give tomorrow a try, see where it goes, and then we'll experiment it a little bit more if it works. So, goodbye, good night. like, share, subscribe, and I will see you later on this afternoon.
See you guys.